So, what's today? Sunday. I was just driving home from Jacksonville. Sorry, this light is weird. But I was just driving home and started thinking about how most people know what they should be doing for their health, right? But we just don't always do it, right? And this is so common. I literally ask people this question all the time. What's one thing you could be doing that would have a big impact on your health? And people always have an answer, right? People know what they should or could be doing for their health, but we just don't always do it. There's never just been like I don't know, I have no idea. We know, we just don't do it. So why is that, right? And there can be a few reasons for that. But one really big one that I want to talk about today is because the thing that we have in our mind that we should be doing is too big. It's huge, right? I should be doing, like, say you're trying to lose weight. It's like, well, I should be working out, and I should revamp my whole diet, and I should be cutting things out, and I should be doing this, I should be doing that. It's too big. And so it's overwhelming. Right? Like, how do we even begin? It's too much. It sounds terrible. It sounds stressful. It's so much that it's like, where do I even start? How do I even begin this? And then we don't. And then we just stay stuck, right? And so instead of thinking we have to do all the things, I want us to break it down into smaller pieces, right? Because we think we have to do all the things, and sometimes we set a goal and then we try to do all the things. I'm gonna do all the things, and then we cut things out, and we change our diet, and we start going to the gym, and it's too hard, right? Like, we can do it for like a week or so, and then it's just too much all at once, and it becomes impossible to follow through with, and so then we start to drop off, right? And then we stop following through, and then it's like, what's wrong with me? I can't ever keep up with anything. But it's because we bit off more than we could chew, right? And that's just, we want results so fast that sometimes we try to do too much at once, and it just becomes impossible to follow through. We want to do things that feel good to us, and when we try to do too much at once, it doesn't feel good, right? Like, for me, if I want to make a healthy meal and I look up a recipe, if it has more than like 5 or 6 steps, I'm like, nope, too much. Next, exit out, right? And so same thing with reaching your goals. If you try to do too much at once, it just becomes impossible. Or it feels so daunting and overwhelming that it's like you can't even begin, right? So instead of thinking you have to do all the things and trying to do all the things, I want you to just think of one thing. Ask yourself this: what is one thing I could be doing right now that would take me one tiny step closer to reaching my goals? One tiny step. And so let me really be clear about that too. So you might be tempted to say, okay, well, if I want to lose weight, for example, then one thing I could do is eat healthier, right? But that can feel really overwhelming too, because eating healthy, you might think, oh, well, then I have to cut out all of this stuff, and I have to go out and spend all this money on fresh ingredients, and I just have to take up all this time. I have to spend 6 hours meal prepping on Sundays, blah, blah, blah. And that feels like too much, right? That doesn't sound fun. And so who wants to start that if it doesn't sound fun? So what is one tiny piece of that? Like, for instance, maybe you work in an office and you find that at 3 p.m. you feel hungry and you find yourself at the vending machine getting chips or like a Snickers bar every day. So maybe instead of that one unhealthy snack, you opt for a more nutritious snack. Maybe you come prepared with an apple and nut butter, for instance, right? And that's all you have to do. Like, that can be your goal. This one snack a day or maybe even just a couple days a week. I'm going to replace this unhealthy snack with a more nutritious one and just start there. And then it becomes easier to follow through because it's not this whole daunting, intense, time-consuming thing, right? Like we feel like we have to completely overhaul our lives a lot of the time in order to reach your goals, and you don't. No one wants to completely overhaul their life. It's not fun. It's too time consuming. Like we're too busy to try and do that, right? I hope this is making sense, but so keep it as simple as possible, right? Like what is the smallest thing that you could do that you could actually follow through with that would feel really good? So then it becomes easy to follow through because you're not breaking off too much. It's easy to follow through, and then you get to celebrate. Hey, I did it. I followed through. That feels awesome. What can I do next? Right? And then the more tiny little goals that you start adding on and actually following through with, the more motivating that is to keep going. So instead of trying to do all of this stuff at once that then you can't follow through with and it's super demotivating and upsetting, break off the tiniest little piece that will just take you 1% closer to reaching your goal, right? Or maybe you want to drink more water instead of like suddenly carrying around this massive jug of water with you everywhere you go, and then it's like, I have to drink all this water and now I'm peeing all the time and all this stuff. Try adding in one more glass. Add in one extra glass in your day. When you first wake up, have one glass of water before you have your coffee or something. And then that can be it, right? Or if you're trying to start working out, you don't have to, start with an hour at the gym every single day or something. Maybe you can start with a 10-minute walk around the block. Maybe you can start with just stretching your body every couple hours at your office desk. If you're always playing with your kids, maybe you can just, okay, well today I'm going to actually get down on the ground with them. Maybe I'll do a couple squats while they're playing with their toys, and that can be enough. So what is literally the smallest thing that you can do that will eventually take you towards your big goals? Because you know what? Those big goals that seem so big and so far away and almost impossible to reach, those big goals are just a bunch of right nows piled on top of each other. That's all it is. And so what can you do right now? What is one thing you could do right now that would leave you feeling really good, right? That you can follow through with and celebrate. And then start building that momentum. That's all it takes. It literally does not have to be anything more than that. Super small steps make follow through easy. And it feels good to follow through. So then you want to continue doing more. So the easier, the better, actually, right? People make us think you have to work harder, and maybe you don't. Maybe working less is actually the place to start, right? So those were just my thoughts today. I hope that made sense. I feel like when I practiced it in my head, it sounded a lot better. But I think you get where I'm going with that. So let me know if there's just one tiny thing that you might start doing differently that would make a big difference on your health. Just try it. Start now. Why wait? Yeah? All right, guys. Have a great day.